what I'm going to be talking to, I Holly queued it up very nicely. And what I'm going to be talking about is stepping into your greatness. I know people are like, oh, greatness, what does that mean, Judy? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, what you can do to nurture your relationship with greatness, because here's what I believe. I believe that you cannot be your best and achieve your best, all the things that you want to achieve. You cannot do that unless you start first from the inside and what's going on here. So what I also want to share with you is that I believe that you're showing your greatness, feeling your greatness first, allows you the opportunity to make impact, not only within your companies, within your roles, but certainly within your families, your communities, and everywhere. I think it radiates, greatness radiates outside of you. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're also going to be checking in to see what's the health of your greatness barometer. Where, if you took your temperature around greatness, where would it be? And then we're going to be talking about how you can help cultivate, no matter where you are in that continuum, how to cultivate your greatness to be the best you can be and to believe and live all the dreams that you would like to live. So with that, I'm going to mention one more thing. I believe in buffet. This is my approach to training or anything that I do. It's a buffet approach. I'm going to share with you some things that I've garnered over my years on this earth and in many, many roles, which I'll tell you about in just a few minutes. And I want you to treat it like a buffet. And what's good about a buffet? You don't have to take everything on it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to eat it. You don't have to pretend to like it. You pick what you like and then leave the rest for somebody else. But here's what my goal is. At least one thing, I hope that there's one thing, one relationship, one conversation that you can take and try to cultivate your greatness beyond this session. So that's my goal for today. So here we go. My name's Judith Rowe, and I'm a strengths-based coach, trainer, facilitator, but that is where I am now. This is toward, the later years of my career. And what I want you to know is that my career has been multifaceted. And that's why I use the word quilted approach, because if you put all my experience up on, in terms of what I've had to do, it would look like a wonderful quilt. I've done everything, started off as an engineer. I'm not a mining engineer, but I have 2 engineering degrees. I'm a civil engineering engineer and also an industrial engineer. I've worked for municipalities. I've worked for nonprofits. I've worked for Fortune 500 companies. I spent most of my time, 27 years at Corning Incorporated in Corning, New York. And I did everything there from, product engineer, sales engineer, customer service, supervisor. I went off and trained for supervisor effectiveness, went back to school at the ripe age of 40 with 2 kids, small kids and a husband, and got my degree at Cornell University in industrial and labor relations. And so, that quilt just kept growing and growing with experiences at Corning. And I reached the end of that at 55. I no longer fit in my organization of male dominated. It resonates with me, WIMDI does. Wish I had it then, back when I was starting off where many of you are with your careers, because I was absolutely in a male dominated industry. And that camaraderie, the camaraderie that you are creating here, is amazingly wonderful, supportive, and everything that you could want. So I hope that you all are taking full advantage of this. Now, one fun fact about me, by the way, after retirement, I started my coaching business. I'm training, coaching, and facilitating, doing all those things, which have been phenomenal. I've learned a lot, and I've been able to take advantage of all that I've learned in my career. And one fun thing that I like to do now is I'm thinking about doing my first upcycle project. So I declared in my latest class, much to my fear, that I want to take dryer sheets that are used and make an evening gown out of them. Yes, you heard it, an evening gown made out of dryer sheets. So that's what I'm working on. So I promise you, once that happens, I'll be glad to share it with Holly, to share with all of you. So let's talk about the fact that we're all here to get together right now, this moment, and present with each other. And I want us to feel that presence. And so if you would please, if you are able to, I want to take a couple of deep breaths, because this is a full body experience that I'm hoping to have with you today. And I want us to be 100% present. I want you to put that to-do list away. I want you to take off that engineering problem solving mode. And I want you to come fully into creating space for you to take care of yourselves and to focus on yourselves right now. So I'm going to ask you to take 2 deep breaths with me. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. But if you are willing, put your feet on flat on the floor. And then I'd like to invite you to either close your eyes or direct your gaze softly somewhere in the distance. And then I want you to take I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath, and I want you to take it through your nose, like really heavy, like deep breath. And I want you to hold it for a second and then breathe out. And I want you to envision that you're breathing in greatness. You're breathing in that feeling of greatness. And then all that to-do lists and all that buzz, the COVID stuff that's going on, working in a male-dominated industry, I want you to breathe that out for just a minute. All right, are you ready? All right, everyone take a deep breath in. Hold it. Breathing in that greatness and breathe out. Getting rid of all those problem-solving things, to-do lists, all those things. One more time. Breathe in your greatness. Hold it for a sec. And then out of your mouth, let all of those negativity, non-great things go out of your mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes, and we're going to continue. I just want to tell you, I feel like from the moment I came into this room, as you all started coming in, I feel the greatness in this room. You might say, really seriously, Judy? I'm like, you're darn straight. I feel the greatness in this room. Absolutely. And so I want you to just sit with that. Greatness is in this room right now with all of us creating that greatness. And so I want you to think about that, really let it resonate, like percolate in your brains now that we're focused on greatness. And what I'd like for you to do is to when I said the word greatness, I feel the greatness. What did you think about? What word, what one thing came into your mind? If you would please, what feeling or reaction did you have? Can you put it in the chat, please? What came up for you when I said the word greatness? Confidence, I love it. Smiling, Renee, awesome. Ah, yes, memorable, greatness, smarts, yes, I love these words. You all are amazing. Ability, proud, fantastic. These are phenomenal words. Thank you so much for sharing them. So here's the next thing that I want you to think about doing. I want us to talk about what is greatness for the purpose of this presentation. I'm going to give you a formal definition of that, and then we're going to talk about what this means to all of us. So greatness in this context is the quality or state of being important, powerful, the things that you mentioned in that chat, important, distinguished, all those things matter when we're talking about greatness. And I want you to believe it and know it, that everyone has greatness, every single one of us in this Zoom room. And here's how I know that. You might be saying, yeah, you don't know me, but here's what I know. You're here today, right? And I want to get just a little bit granular. Hopefully there's no kids in the room. If there are, tell them to close their ears, because we're going to talk genetics here. Did you know how babies are made, right? Everybody knows how babies are made, right? I'm going to go there. You outswam all those millions of sperm to connect with that egg to be born. How cool is that? How great is that? You won the very first race of your life. And if there's nothing else that you can claim that's great, that is. You would not be here if you didn't do that. So that's what I want us to focus on, is that feeling of like, ta-da, I'm here, I've been born, and I am here. So you may ask, engineers that you are, engineers that I am, where's the data, Judy? Seriously, what's all this fluffy like greatness talk and you're pumping us up? Yeah, I'm pumping you up because you are great. But I want you to really think about the data. So since we're all data driven, I want you to just like take a second, close your eyes if you want to, and think about when's the last time that you felt, great. Like, ta-da, great. And I'm using my jazz hands. I used to do jazzercise many moons ago. And really think about that, and think about what is it about that situation that made you feel greatness or made you feel awesome. And I'm going to tell you mine just so you'll know what I'm looking for. The last time I felt greatness was when I was working with a group of students and I thought that I wasn't getting through to them. You know, I was working with them on leadership skills. And finally, somebody made a comment that made me feel like, wow, they were listening, not only listening, but that it resonated with them. And so that presentation meant the world to me. So something like that, I felt like I had something to give. So I'm going to just stop talking for a second because I want you to think about that case when you felt greatness. But not just when did you feel it, but why did you feel it? What was it about that particular situation that made you feel great in that moment? Because here's what I believe. I think that when you feel greatness can tell you something about either how you feel at work or what really jazzes you up. And that's really what I want to focus on. Does that make sense? What you felt greatness about can really be an indicator of what your desires are, what you want. It could be some things that you need to pay attention to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So feel free to do either. If it's work related, it's fantastic. If it's personal, it's fantastic. Just something you don't mind sharing with somebody else. And of course, you'll keep each other's confidences. And I hope that you had enough time for both of you to share what you felt great about, what was the context and all that. But here's what I want us to do now. I want you to think back to that conversation. I want you to think about how that might have resonated with you. Can you tell me can you put in the chat, how did it feel to talk about your greatness? That's my first question. So go ahead and put that in there. How did it feel to talk about your greatness? Oh, wonderful, Renee. Awesome. Uncomfortable, Dana. Yeah, to be expected. Hard. Yeah. Proud. Yep. Empowering. Wonderful. I see all these. Vulnerable. Awkward. First at awkward and then otherwise felt good. Proud. Awesome. Exciting. Fantastic. Scary. Uncommon. Yeah, this is why we're here. So thank you for doing that and sharing all these things that you're feeling. And some people said good and some people said not so good. So let's flip it. How did it feel? Do you see all these range of comments? Let's flip it. How did it feel to hear the other person's story? How did it feel to hear that? One word or two in the chat. How did it feel to hear somebody else's story? Ooh, better, wonderful, inspiring, relatable, empowering. Ooh, look at all these great words. I don't see uncomfortable yet. I don't see hard yet. I don't see uncommon yet. What's up with that, guys? Yeah, it was nice. Positive, uplifting. I hear uplifting, inspiring, all those wonderful words. Fantastic. So let's talk about that a little bit more as I move through the presentation. All right. So we just got finished and we talked about how did it feel to talk about. So everything centered around everything from wonderful woohoo to man, that was so uncomfortable, it's uncommon. But when I talked about it, flipped the switch and said, how did it feel to hear it? I didn't hear anything about uncomfortable, uncommon, or hard. So let's just think about that for a moment. It has origins. The reason why it felt uncomfortable is because there is this whole phenomenon, and it's human, by the way, domesticated humans, which we are, have everything to do with how we relate and compare to each other, and how do we feel about the world and what's in it in terms of greatness. So here are three pairings that I want you to think about, and these are the things that can deter people from the greatness. If they have a comparison mentality, always looking to the left or right or behind you to see what everyone else is doing, that can absolutely erode confidence. It erodes your greatness, and then it erodes your impact that you can have on others in your world, much like it was when you listen to other people's stories. Instead, I want you to think about, instead of comparing yourself to other people, which we do all the time, me included, I want you to think about that being what you said when you heard other people's stories. Sharing your greatness, seeing and demonstrating your greatness can be an inspiration to other people. I want you to sit on that one, really focus. Your comparison is not really how it shows up for other people. It's instead let it be an inspiration to other people. So when you share your greatness out, it's not about bragging or comparison. It's about creating an opportunity to feel good about yourself and to inspire others. So many times I hit on, when I'm coaching people and training people, scarcity versus abundance mentality. This is so true. It almost feels like, and I'll tell you, for me, it showed up when I first became an engineer at Corning. I was one of maybe 10 women out of hundreds of engineers that work for Corning. And I felt like I was always competing with other women to be the best, to be the first. And by the way, newsflash, there's enough to go around for everyone. So I didn't need to have that comparison factor. I needed to feel like there's enough for everyone. And I don't need to look to my left and right. I need to run my race. And what I'm going to get is meant for me. And by the way, nothing is wasted, even the failures. And that last one is super important too, in terms of comparison, scarcity, competition. They all work together to create this image that we can't brag on ourselves. We can't feel good about ourselves. There's only so much. We have to clamor to get it. And that competition is a killer, dead ringer killer. It can keep you from collaborating with other people and keep you from sharing your gifts and being inspirations to others and to come up with something better when working with others. So I want you to think about those barriers to that, the great impact of having the feeling of greatness and that collaboration and that confidence that we were talking about in your breakout rooms. So I want you to know, just you could see it in the chat, there's a whole host of relationships that are unique to your experiences in this industry as women. So you could see that there were people that were like super comfortable, woohoo, greatness, here I am, to people saying, oh my gosh, where is the exit? In fact, Holly even noted, some people like, I'm out of here. I can't talk about it. I just can't. And that's totally understandable. And it's damaging. Can I tell you it's damaging? Because you've got to be able to feel it before you can become it. If it's not here, it's going to be much harder. And that imposter syndrome follows you everywhere you go. So we have to decide, what's our relationship with greatness? And here's some things I want you to get rid of, as we do as women specifically. And I was just looking at statistics. The statistics around women in male-dominated industries or in industries in general, it's even more dismal than it was before with this COVID pandemic. So I really need for people to understand that all these things that you see listed here that are things that we do on the regular. And I want you to say, how often do I do any of these things on this list? That you're flexible, bending over backward for others. When somebody gives you a compliment, you pull in the team. It's like, oh, it was the team, it wasn't me. Oh, don't look at me, look at everyone. Stop talking too early in meetings or in Zoom rooms and taking up as little space. I talked to my sister about, making yourself small in situations and rather than stepping into who you are and actually sharing your information, what you have to share, and not saying anything at all sometimes. Like I've done that even. It's like, oh, I don't know how they're going to receive what I'm going to say. I want you to put that stuff in that toxic waste bin, put your hazmat suit on and get rid of it, because these are things that stop us from being our greatest. And apologizing. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oops, I apologize. Sorry. If you see stop yourself from saying sorry. If you find yourself saying it too much, pay attention to words in your head. What are you thinking? And pay attention to the words out of your mouth, because all of these things can be minimizing the impact that you have in your organizations, in your families, in your communities, in the world. So we talked about relationships running the gamut here. And so I want us to get to a point where those toxic things that we're thinking and saying and doing that erode our greatness, I want them to be moved out and made room. You make room for being the best cheerleader of your life. That's you. And I used to be a high school cheerleader many moons ago. So I want you to think about that, raw spirit that you're going to have, not for anybody else but yourself. And by the way, the best cheerleader is you. You don't need to depend on other people to demonstrate or to acknowledge your greatness. You can do self-acknowledgement. You can validate yourself. You don't need to look outside. First, validate yourself. And then if anybody else notices, like, yeah, you see my greatness, so do I. So here are 3 steps that I want to share with you about greatness. They are create, repair, and grow. It's nurturing a relationship so that you can step into that greatness that we've been talking about. And so again, full body experience here. We want to make sure that we all work in tandem together to step into our greatness. So I like to think of this as create, repair, grow, meaning it's full body. Remember, I mentioned that earlier. It starts with your head, then moves into your heart, and then from that, you can grow. Head, heart, hands, growth. So let's start first with career growth. I have 3 steps for each of the different areas that you can work on. And I want you to be thinking about, as I describe these, where are you? Which one would you like to be declaring that you would like to work on? Let me give you a little kind of a clue too. We're going to do another breakout with 3 people this time. I want you to think about, where would you like to focus? Because I really would love for you to leave the Zoom room with something that you're going to do around your greatness, to demonstrate it, to grow it, or create it. So in the create category, if you're someone that's really starting from scratch, let's talk about the thoughts and beliefs that you have, taking inventory of them and discarding what doesn't serve you anymore, that's self-limiting. And then I want you to think about cultivating the self-affirming things that you're doing. And here's a key thing to do. If you are someone that has hard time with that language of self-affirmations, I want you to start chronicling, doing a brag book, chronicling your wins, every single one of them, so that when those self-limiting beliefs come, you have this book that you can open up and talk about and think about all the wonderful things that you've done to this point. So that's something that you can do. So let's talk about repair. If you've had those limiting thoughts and beliefs, and then you are kind of wrestling with them, there's nothing better that you can do than to love. I just have simply the word love, because I know it's not, people are like, roll your eyes. You've got to love yourself, Judy. Yeah, sure. I get it. I mean, everybody says that, but I totally know that the greatness can't shine out unless you truly believe and have love, self-care for yourself. So this means that if you are having a hard time with that self-love, self-care, think about where did that narrative come from, that you don't deserve it, or you haven't worked hard enough, or you need to do more. In fact, I had several coaching sessions over the last week, and we talked about this very thing. Repair that harm, nurture yourself, be able to then say, I deserve this. I don't need to listen to those people that gave me negative impacts or in negative narratives. And I can nurture and grow myself, love myself, heal those wounds, and move forward with a new perspective. So then let's talk about grow. So you could be in the create opportunity, you could be repairing the harm that you may have caused by listening to those narratives or having your own narratives that are not helpful. And then absolutely, if you're in a position where, I've got those other 2 down, I'm just ready to grow, Judy. I'm ready to grow that greatness to get the things that I want. And here's what I believe. You got to take action, like that self-affirmation, that self-love, the creating the fertile ground for that growth won't happen if you stay where you are and stay stuck. That means you got to dream a scary dream. You got to. And I can say to you, over my 40+ year career, there have been absolute pivotal times where I was scared to death to do something. The biggest one I knew was to move out of engineering and do sales. And then that was like huge. I got to negotiate my first contract, and I had to reach out to get help. I was scared to death, but I did it. And after I did it, that's one of the things I remember the most. I go, yes, I did that. The next transition was me going from being an engineer to being a trainer. That was huge. And I was working with people that had much higher level positions than I had. And it's like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Well, let me tell you something. Before they even asked me, I had it in my head. I want to be a trainer for this program for supervisor effective. I know I can do this. But guess what? Did it ever come out of my mouth to ask for that? No, it didn't. I was too afraid to ask for what I wanted. And I want you to come to terms with those desires. What are things that you desire to do that you're afraid to either ask or take the first step to get? And these are the scary dreams that I want you to think about and really go after them, or at least break them down into smaller steps to get where you want to go. One step at a time, each one. So those are the 3 different steps that you can take, areas. And here's what I want you to do. And please don't forget it. As technical people, we forget to celebrate. We forget to celebrate the wins and the things that we do that are phenomenal. We forget to chronicle them. We forget to talk about them in our performance reviews, and we forget to celebrate them. I especially want you to celebrate the small wins. And it can look whatever way you want it. Me, I've been known to have a dance party by myself, honestly. I turned the loud music on and I just go at it. When I do something good, I'm just dancing by myself, and I don't care. I like that. I tell people, I chronicle it, and I actually have a vision board that I add it to. So it doesn't have to look like mine. These are your suggestions, whatever works for you. And I want you to be positive about making sure that you celebrate all wins, no matter how big or small, because they all are steps toward what you want to do. Once again, can I mention it? Hazmat suit, people. Put all those negative things, all the negative comments, all the negative experiences in that toxic bin and go out with it. They will try to come back. Now I'm going to remind you, they will try to come back, but you put them right back in that toxic bin, and then you get them moving on to where they need to go, which is in the toxic dump. So one of the things that I have done is decided that I'm going to actually grow my greatness by doing things that I've never done before. Even at this stage in my career, I've still got things to do. I've got desires in my heart, and I'm going after them. Where are you in these continuums? Where are you? Are you in more create opportunity to grow that fertile ground? Are you really looking at, yeah, I've had all this negativity and I'm trying to repair the history, trying to re-record the tape to something more positive? Or are you in the, yep, I'm ready to take action, Judy? I want you to think about, where is it that you fall in this greatness, this greatness model that I've created? So create, grow, or create, repair, or grow. Really think about it. We're going to be doing an exercise. It's called the 1-3-all exercise. I want you to first start alone and think about which area is going to be my area of focus when I think about one thing that I can take away from this Zoom room and actually put into action to grow my greatness or to become more great. Again, thinking about where you are now and where do you want to go. And then we're going to come back as a whole group and just talk about it. And then we're going to send you on your way. Before I send you into your Zoom room breakouts, I love this quote by Yolanda Van Zandt. Love her devotional books, her books that inspire. That's something I do regularly is read. And she says, life will work for me. Life will work for me. Everyone's life can work for them, by the way. No one's exempt. Life will work for me when I realize I have everything I need within me to create everything I want out there. I have everything. You already are perfect. Can I tell you? I'm looking at all of you. You're already perfect. And I'm not talking about perfection, that everything's in place. I'm talking about you already have good stuff in you. And where you are, it's perfect. And nothing that you've been through is wasted because you've learned something from it. That's what I want you to know. So I want to know if you are ready to self-reflect. What opportunities do you see for creating, repairing, or growing your relationship with greatness? And I want you to not compare yourself to anybody else. I want you to think about, what's 15% progress look like for you? Where does that show up? Can you think about that just for a second? And so, I just want you to think about where you're taking your greatness next. I think this is such an important step, and I don't want it to wane. So whatever you can do to keep that momentum going, to keep your thoughts focused on what's good, I really want you to do that. So I want to leave you with this comment from Regina Thomas Schauer. She's an entrepreneur and an author, and she said, "We will never live our greatness if we follow someone else's roadmap or script." Remember, looking to the left, looking to the right. And I want you to cherish your own storyline. You are your own story of greatness. And I want that to be something that resonates with you. I am so delighted to be with all of you today. I'm so happy. As a strength-based coach, trainer, and facilitator, you have inspired me. And I'm so glad that you came to spend time with me this afternoon. Please look me up. My website is juditharowe.com, and please feel free to reach out to me by email. I am just happy to be here and so happy with all of you. Please keep working on your greatness and keep those positive, self-affirming, self-loving thoughts going. I wish you all a very, very good night.